Welcome back to another journey with the Crypto Foundation. And last, we'll discuss the altcoin markets divided by Bitcoin because we want to answer the question, is it a good time to be swapping into alts, or when may that time be? Let's jump right in. This is TOTAL3 divided by Bitcoin, essentially showing the altcoin market cap strength against Bitcoin and showing a ratio. The biggest question here is, are we in an area of a short rally before we have a major correction like we did over here where we see 43% down, or are we going to hold this level? I think that's the main question. I don't want to speculate too much, but what we can do is we can look at the charts. So we don't have the monthly data, but I switched it to the 2-week to check this out. So in the past, when this big correction happened, we had crossed below the zero line on the MACD, blue below the orange, and it continued to drop until an area where it found support, which was the previous lows. That's when this indicator started to diverge, and that divergence was essentially your area to swap Bitcoin to alts of your choosing. And if you did that, then you would have done well when this continued up. So what do we see now, right? So we've seen the same cross of the zero line to the downside happen over here much earlier. And what we're seeing is a cross of the blue line like we did here right around, let's check that out. When would that have been? December of last year. Okay. Just like here. Okay. This is what questions me to believing that this may be the floor. And don't get me wrong, there are some scenarios where the 2-week MACD diverges a little bit this way, right? It like continues to diverge up, and then there could still be a drop in TOTAL3 by Bitcoin. And I'm starting to question whether if this is the floor or not, and this area somewhere around here is actually holding, okay? And then that would look like this here, right? If you take all of this previous action here for this chart, it looks like it tested the top of that box. So yeah, this one is a tough one, and if it did drop, then you're looking at this area. I don't think it'd be a complete test of the lows, but you would get this opportunity here. Let's look at some other indicators in regards to what's happening. How about the same one we were just looking at, right? So if we look at that long-term momentum indicator, let's switch it to the monthly again. It looks like there is a bullish pivot. I'll show you another chart with total without stables that is showing a pivot as well. And so if that's showing a pivot, that could just mean that this long-term downtrend is tapering off, and it would be evidence that this is a floor right here, okay? And again, you can see here in the past where this curve is coming back down, but once it flattens, that's a representation of a bottom. Now, this could last a lot longer, and some alts could continue to get wrecked versus others. Some could see retracement against their Bitcoin pairs. Most importantly here is that once this curve had bottomed out on the monthly and flattened, then we're seeing a accumulation here, okay, and a floor. So if that happens here, is there that floor, and we're already there right now? That's one question to ask. If we draw a Fibonacci measure here from this low to the high for TOTAL3 by Bitcoin, and we overlay the Bitcoin chart, what we see is TOTAL3 against Bitcoin rejected once, a second time, and then Bitcoin had its final midterm rally here in 2019. With that, TOTAL3 put in this low test and previous lows, okay? What do we see now? We see, let's refit these to the current trend. What we see now is Bitcoin having a similar rally, right? But with a stronger base. Remember, I said this base came a lot stronger, a lot more parabolic without holding consolidation. This rally has held consolidation this whole time and is now experiencing it. So based on that, TOTAL3 is still above the 618, not below it. So yeah, this is getting quite interesting. It was tested. If we zoom in here, it was tested here once. It went slightly below here, start of October before the run, and then this rally caused some alts to really break out. And then both of these candles on the monthly are above the 618. So again, seeing this flattening, if this continues to hold for another month or two, and even if for example, if Bitcoin has a drop, ideally that drop in Bitcoin may drop this market. So, we want to watch for it to close below 618 and see if it's falling here. But right now, there's some indication to show that EB may have held this floor. Let's go to the next chart. Okay, in the next chart, we essentially have the same thing, but we have minus USDT and USDC market cap. So total 3 minus the 2 main stablecoins divided by Bitcoin on the monthly. What do we see here? So we have the same momentum indicators, except it just has less data because the stablecoin market on TradingView, or since their inception of trading, was not available. So it'll cut these, cut this data a little shorter. What we want to point out to here is this chart looks a lot less dramatic than the other one. Also, if you look at this long-term momentum indicator here, it's definitely flattening out, and it's about a few weeks from its pivot point here, the clear pivot. Okay, see, that was a pivot, this is a pivot. So on a monthly, it's hard to ignore a chart like that. If we change it to the 2-week and look at the MACD, there's already a divergence. I would not be surprised if this floor held. Okay, and if there was a drop, I think minus stablecoins, the drop maximum amount from previous lows would be about 20%, and from current area about 33%. Now, if some of those alts do drop that amount and then are holding for weeks in a row, that would be a good indication that there's a divergence. The floor is holding. They do drop and they hold that level. Great. That's the max pain I see. However, what I'm trying to figure out is if the current levels in some of the alts, because some are bleeding against Bitcoin, have put in new lows or tested some previous lows. If that's the case, then I would have to start considering to swap those, right? So what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for a resolution of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin going down has a chance of it as well. So at worst, we could even test this bottom of this box here where it was previously. We could test bottom of this box here at about 13% drawdown, right, from current price to another 13% at the worst, and we're seeing this clear divergence, just like last time. Massive bullish divergence on MACD, for example, was telling you that this was a potential low. Now we had the whole total 3, minus stables against Bitcoin, did find a new low when Bitcoin went parabolic, right? But that was only when Bitcoin broke previous highs, broke that 20K back in 2021, and continued to find new highs. And not a lot of alts found new lows. Some of the alts that were more favorable actually had a higher low. Very few that at least I was interested in find absolute lows, but there were some. I think Atom Cosmos was one of them. But keep that in mind, that if you are accumulating in this area, you don't have to panic and worry about this, right, as a doomsday scenario. As of right now, the takeaways are we are seeing on the monthly a potential bottom occurring here with alts. Sometimes the cycles are not exactly the same, so we want to be watching these individual charts. I'll catch up on the majors and then maybe do a few alts, and I'll definitely release a video of a few alts that I've been holding close to my chest when the accumulation time comes. I just don't want to get hyped up and rush it. So anyways, if you enjoy the content, as always, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.